Okay, so the next two operations I'm going to tell you about are the locate and place operations. They go together because you use a place operation to place already made designs and reuse them um, by sketching out a location of where they're going to be. The locate line defines in that child operation that you're about to load and reuse how, when you draw a line in the new design, that old design gets placed. So the way you use the two together is, first of all, let me show you this design, which I'm going to use and replace or reuse multiple times. We have an upper box, we have a circle, we have a lower box, and then we have the upper and lower box combined together. So I'm going to draw a locate operation, which is defined by the bottom edge of the upper box. So I'm going to just draw a line, turn on my constraints, and then make that line coincident with the bottom edge. This means that it's also coincident with the top edge of the lower box. I'm going to call it my locate line. And it's going to create a locate operation. So now you can see that my locate operation is basically defining the midpoint or the middle of the vertical space of this design. I'm going to save this and call it a located box here. And then I'm going to start a new design. So when I want to place that reusable geometry, first of all, you have to load it. Located box is what I call it. And you have the choice of which operation you want to place. I could place the upper box, the lower box, or both, in addition to the circle. So let's start with the upper box. If I were to draw a line and sketch out two of those lines and have those two lines sort of meet at their endpoints, and then make this line a little bit longer, you're going to see a couple things that happen by default. First of all, the object that you're placing gets scaled by the length of that line in both X and Y directions. X kind of perpendicular directions to the line that you draw. So what that means is that you have a bit of control over how your placed design gets scaled. For example, by selecting the upper line, all of the scaling occurs above the line that I just drew because of the place that I drew that locate line in the previous design. If I were to switch to the lower box, you can see that all the scaling occurred below that line. And if I were to select the midpoint, you'd see that some of my material was stretched above and some of it was stretched below where I placed those two lines. So you can also modify how the scaling is applied both in the X and the Y direction independently. So for example, if I were to specify a custom Y scaling that's not specified by the line distance, for example, a scaling of 1, you can see that both the short and the long line each have the same width of the box. Also, if I were to go to custom X and scale the Y, you could see that the X original length was used and was determined by the length of the line. So it gives you a lot of power to control how you place and reuse geometry. And that's pretty much the locate and place operations.